Welcome back everyone to another video. In this video, team going to look at how to set up effective behaviour expectations for your class. These expectations are going to influence the way students behave in your class. So the first one is to make sure you role model your own expectations. So for me, I'm big on approaching failure and then trying something, failing, and then making sure you learn from that experience. Okay, I think that's the fastest way to growth in anything you do. So the way it looks like in the classroom for me, as a math teacher, if I'm choosing students to then answer something, they call out an answer, a peer jumps in there and then puts them down or says something negative towards them. My expectation is that we all learn through mistakes. You don't have the guts to make mistakes to then learn from it. So that peer that jumped in, I make sure I let them know in a calm and composed manner, I'm not firing up, that look, they had the guts to answer the question. They made a mistake, but they're going to learn by it. Having the guts to do that instead of sitting back and then throwing shade or negative comments at people, that's the weak way to do it. Now, I'm not going to say weak, you twist the words around or make it sound how you want to sound, but you're just making sure that you stomp out that negative behaviour. Because once you get rid of that fear of failure from students, for me, what I've witnessed, that's where you can really get some momentum with getting results out of students. The next one for setting up clear expectations or behaviour expectations for your students, keep it simple and realistic. Don't go crazy. Like your rule set, don't go crazy trying to implement 50 different things at once. So if your expectation is to be respectful in class, do it. So just don't be calling out over one another, making sure you're not hitting each other, making sure you're being polite to one another. Okay, those things there, you can then draw your rules down. Okay, for me, I'm big on being respectful with time. Okay, so if students are late, I make sure that, I let them know why. It's frustrating, so I've got to stop the lesson, get away from the students that did the right thing to get in class, to go over and address the students that are late. Okay, they had my private conversation, and then it's taken away from their learning. Okay, again, then from there, I'm going to reiterate that, education should get you to a better life. Or hopefully it opens up enough opportunities down the track to get you to where you want to be. Okay, so by being late to class, missing out on those, educational possibilities, that's going to add up over time. Okay, now it seems small at a year 8, year 10 or whatever level, but if it continues to happen, that's, the big picture scheme of things. Next thing is address the behaviours that are in line with your expectations. So for me, I'm big on teamwork. If I see a student helping another student, well done, Johnny, for helping Samantha. Really appreciate, good to see. Now, I don't need to stop the whole class and tell everyone that, but I make sure it's loud enough that students around, see my desired expectations of helping students. Okay, again, if I'm talking at the board, my expectation is every student's listening. That's not me on an ego trip. I explain to the students that I need everyone listening now, because if you don't, I need everyone listening now because I want everyone to be at the same spot to start with when I finish speaking. If people aren't listening now, then when I stop speaking, I've got to go around and work with 25, 30 different individual students at different places, and that's not going to help anyone. On the flip side of that, obviously point out the behaviours you don't appreciate either, like I said at the start, or don't align with your expectations. Like I said at the start, I'm big on, students having the guts to make mistakes and learn through their mistakes. So that student that jumps in, don't appreciate that for the reason. Okay, students that are late, don't appreciate that, takes away from learning. Okay, student, being organised, didn't bring a pen, pencil, or bag to school. Okay, there's situations for that, but if you're continually doing it because you're too lazy, well then that's my expectation is, if you're organised to a level, that's going to make your life easier, more calm in a way, to get sort of build more, educational experiences on from there. The final one is don't go crazy trying to incorporate every expectation at once. Set, manageable time frames for it. Okay, as you go, review as you go, making sure you're tweaking. Don't think that you have to achieve everything in the first week, the first month, or the first term. Just make sure, you review as you go. And when you're reviewing, you don't need to reinvent the wheel either. Just monitor, track, and then modify as you go. That's it, team. That's a wrap. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you can take something away from the video.